Hi everyone, so January's gone, we're partway through February. Where are you with your New Year's resolutions? Well, sadly for a lot of people, New Year's resolutions are done. They're done for the year. We set them, we didn't do them, we've forgotten about them. So what I'm going to do in this video is just break down maybe the reasons behind that, why that's happened, if that's happened to you, and if you're still going strong with your resolutions, reasons, ways in which you can actually improve the chances of you actually making it to the end of the year or making it to whatever goal that you've set for your resolution. So this video is going to break down how to make a successful New Year's resolution, or how to make your New Year's resolution a success. So firstly, the wording of your resolution matters. Okay, so if your resolution for this year is to be healthier, well, that's a great resolution. You know, be healthier, you can see all kinds of benefits in your day-to-day life. But what does that mean? And that vagueness of what exactly does healthy mean is what's going to eat away at this resolution, and then you're going to get to this time and you're going to think, I'm healthy. It's going to be in the back of your mind, right? So how can we bring that from the back of your mind, like a vague idea of we want to be more healthy, into something a bit more solid? So you think, what is more healthy? Okay, maybe more exercise and less sugar, less junk food, maybe. Okay, so then you try to incorporate that into your goal. So you might say, for example, over the next 6 months, I'm going to work up to exercising 4 times a week, by going for a walk 4 times a week, and reducing the amount of days I eat junk food to just Saturday. Let's say, for example, that's your goal over the next 6 months. It's very quantifiable, it's very precise. Okay, you can work up to exercising 4 times a week. You've specified what kind of exercise it is. You've also said you want to reduce your junk food down to just having junk food on your Saturday. That's like your cheat day, for example. Is it ideal? No, you're still having junk food, but you've gone from having junk food 7 days a week to having junk food just the one day. Okay, so you're working towards that healthiness goal. Maybe next year you can work further towards that, but that's your goal, and it's a very quantifiable, precise goal. So that's the first step. Is the wording of your resolution matters massively in terms of, are you going to achieve it? Because it's going to be precise. You're going to know exactly whether you have or haven't achieved it. It's going to be on your mind. And then the next step is creating a timeline. Okay, so we've said we want to work up to this 6-month goal. Okay, so what are you going to do in the first month? What are you going to do in the second month? So you might think, okay, in the first month, I'm going to make sure I exercise 1 day a week. In the second month, 2 days a week, and so on until I get to 4 days a week. You might think about junk food. Okay, so I'm going to reduce junk food on, Monday and Tuesday for the first month, and so on. You build up. So basically, what you want to do is have a timeline of how you're going to go from where you are now to where you want to be in 6 months time, 8 months time, 10 months time, whatever you want. Okay, so how are you going to get there in that amount of time, and make it a reasonable time frame. Don't punish yourself, right? Because you've got a year to get healthy. Okay, it's a great goal and it's loads of time. Don't think I'm going to be healthy in a month and I'm just going to turn around all my habits in a month, because that's going to be very difficult to stick to, because it's all about changing those habits in a regular way. Okay, so if you have it spread out over the year, much more likely to achieve it. And if you have those specific timelines, you're much likely to work towards those short-term goals rather than trying to work through a massive goal. Because going from eating junk food every day and not exercising to not eating junk food most days and exercising 4 times a week, that's a big jump. Okay, and you might be able to make that jump for a week and 2 weeks, but very soon your willpower will just go. So you don't rely on willpower, rely on regularity, rely on routine, and that's the key thing. And that's what the timeline will give you, and that's what the specific goal will give you. And one of the things that I do as a coach is help people identify obstacles to their goals. Okay, so you set a goal 4 days a week exercise, reduce my junk food. People then will tend to go on, that feels like a good goal, feels like a good timeline, etc. We've talked all about it, seems fine. You go ahead with it and you get to month 2 and something happens. You're back to no exercise. What do you do then? And this is where I as a coach come into play. Okay, so what I do is I preemptively look at obstacles that are potentially in the way. Okay, so what might be an obstacle to you if you're exercising? Different people have different answers for this, but for example, I don't know, in February you might decide half-term holidays, I'm going to go away to a resort somewhere. And it's all inclusive, so I'm actually going to stuff myself every day, okay? Now, fine, you've got every right to go away on a resort and stuff yourself, but how are you going to feel after that? And that's where you've got to think, okay, that's an obstacle, that sort of going away. A lot of people would go away, stuff themselves and think, right, that's it, goal finished. But if you recognize that ahead of time, you recognize that it's going to be a bit of a blip in your goal, that's fine. It becomes part of your goal. So what other obstacles could you have? For example, if you have kids, you might need to find a babysitter in order to go to exercise. Now, if you know that ahead of time, if you know that's an obstacle, you could decide to go to exercise on a different day. You could decide to go and exercise at a different time. But it's all about recognizing the obstacles in your path and allowing for those obstacles to not throw you off the actual long-term goal. That's the key thing. And finally, one of the things that I found people really struggle with is being very rigid in their goals. Okay, so they've decided, I'm going to read 12 books this year. And they get to month 3 and they've only read the first book. And they think, oh, well, that's it, that's my goal finished. No, that's not your goal finished. You can readjust your goal, right? It's your goal. No one's going to be hanging this over you. You're not getting, it's not part of a contract you've entered into. You go into it with all intentions. Now, due to reasons out of your control, due to maybe a false start, it's fine, we all have false starts. You have to be kind to yourself, right? You got to month 3 and for whatever reason, you've not actually made it to 3 books. You've only read 1 book and you should have read 3 books by now because you're planning on reading a book a month. That's fine. Reassess those goals. If it's the case that actually realistically you can only read 1 book in 3 months, readjust your goal. Right? 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 4 books in a year. Let's aim for 4 books in a year. Right? And then by the end of the year, you've successfully read those 5 books, which is fantastic. Okay, next year you can think, okay, maybe I'm going to increase that slightly. Maybe I'll have 6 books for this year or so on. But the point is that you have to be kind to yourself. Okay? And so there's nothing wrong with readjusting your goal. Okay, so feel free, readjust your goal. And finally, the last thing that I do with my clients is a look back at the goals at the end of the year. And this is not just to say, it's not a checklist of, achieved, did not achieve, achieve. It's looking back at each goal and saying to what extent it was achieved and the lessons that could be taken away from that for next year's goals, okay? And this is super useful because it's important to reflect on what obstacles came in the way. It's important to reflect on what helped you achieve these goals and then take those ideas and concepts and move them into the next set of goals. And it doesn't have to be the New Year's resolutions necessarily. It could be just goals in other ways. Okay, you might have a particular goal at work, you might have a particular personal goal. It just helps you achieve those goals if you're able to retrospectively look at what you've done, what's helped, what hasn't helped, and apply that for the future. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed that video, definitely press subscribe, press like, and watch out for more videos. If you have any interesting goals that you set for this year that you want to add as a comment to this channel to keep yourself accountable, then add them as a comment. And yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you later.